What's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about if Fire Emblem Engage is a good starting point for newcomers or newbies to the franchise. Now, I get asked this quite a bit on my live streams, so I wanted to make a dedicated video talking about this for people that are new to the Fire Emblem franchise, or maybe Three Houses was your first one, or you don't have much experience with it. And even if you are a seasoned Fire Emblem vet, there will be some new information that's been revealed about the game with the previews and other things that you can know about. So I think it'll be awesome for everyone involved. Now let's go ahead and first jump into it here and talk about when the game is coming out and also what Fire Emblem is. So Fire Emblem Engage does officially launch on January 20th, not too much longer after when this video went up. So that's awesome, right? But let's talk about exactly what Fire Emblem is as a brief rundown. Now, this is a strategy RPG. You have turn-based battles that take place on a grid where you need to exploit your enemy through tactics and also through weaponry, whether that's magic or that's swords, spears, axes. Everything has a weakness and a little bit of a resistance depending on the circumstances, and there's all sorts of different fantastical ways that you can blow your enemies away in various fashions, especially with this game, Fire Emblem Engage, which we'll get into a little bit more with some of the content. Now, it has a big story and all sorts of side content and other things to do, which I've explained in previous videos, so I'll have a link to that in the description below if you want to know more about some of the side stuff in the game. But I feel that the core content that comes in Fire Emblem Engage, from all the different previews I've read and the videos that I've seen and all the new footage that's being uploaded, is definitely a great starting point for newcomers. So let's talk about this here. The story itself is probably the biggest thing that people want to know about. A lot of you guys have seen the different characters. You see Marth and you see Roy and you see Ike. Obviously, a lot of you guys have seen these characters in previous games or know that they come from previous Fire Emblem games, so that automatically puts up a barrier saying, well, wait a minute, if I don't know that character, I don't know what his adventure was like, will I not be able to play this game? And that is not the case at all. This game has its own self-contained story with brand new characters. So there's brand new characters, there's a brand new story, and these previous characters play a part, a vital part into that story, but it is a somewhat of like a shadow or like a JoJo stand, right? They're not actually there in the flesh as a character. Your character has these emblem rings, or your characters have these emblem rings, and they can equip them as they see fit. So they take a little bit of a backseat, but a very big supporting role to the actual characters that are there, where you can talk to and you can level up and support, that can equip these emblem rings. So it is not something to where you need to know every single thing about Marth or every single thing about Mike or Makai or any of these characters in order to enjoy the story and play the game. And I think that's very important for newcomers to know, that you can just play this game and enjoy it, and you'll learn about these previous game characters, which we'll talk about in just a bit. Now, another thing that was revealed recently is the difficulty levels. There are 3 separate difficulty levels in this game, and I know a lot of you guys have already heard about how punishing Fire Emblem can be, especially with its permadeath option, but I want to break down exactly how that works for newcomers. So there is going to be a normal, hard, and lunatic difficulty. Lunatic is for the insane people out there. It's pretty much just that. It is crazy. It is just way too difficult, and you probably don't want to play that from the beginning. That's for seasoned Fire Emblem hardcore fans only. Now, I don't even play it on my first run on that difficulty. I usually go for the hard difficulty, which will be there right there at launch, hard difficulty, and then there's normal as well. Now, from what I'm thinking, based off of just the atmosphere and style of the game and what you can do with the emblem rings and the type of power this game has, what I'm guessing is that the lunatic difficulty is more of the super hard difficulty. The hard difficulty is the normal-ish hard difficulty, and the normal mode is the pretty much easy mode in the game. So you should be good no matter what skill level you are, because I'm almost positive that that normal mode, with what you can do in this game, is going to be fairly easy, or just enough to where you'll get some resistance, but it won't be too much of a problem to go through and beat the game. Plus, the game has tons of tools for you to level up, for you to boost up, for you to just get better there. Now, another thing that a lot of people like to ask about is the permadeath option. So if a character falls in battle, they're pretty much gone. They're dead in the whole game, and you don't get them back. Now, there's two options here. You can have the casual and you can have the classic. Now, the classic is exactly that. The old Fire Emblem games before Awakening made it to where once that person fell in battle, they are done. But now what you can do is that if you put it on casual, you can actually make it to where your units come back after that mission is done. So it's a great way to play for those who don't want to have to worry about their teammates dying, because once again, once they're gone for the rest of the game. Now, I personally play it on the classic mode because it really brings up the tension and making sure that I try to make the best moves available. But if one of my units fall in battle, I just restart the mission, which once again, some people don't like that, but it's just based on how you like to play. I personally like to have like that whole mindset of I'm going to try to fight and do what I got to do to make sure that my unit doesn't fall. But if it does, the penalty is restarting the whole chapter. So for however you want to play, you can do that. You can play it on the casual if you want and just have it to where they come back, or you can try it out on classic and just go through if you want. So if somebody falls, you just keep playing, or if you want, you can restart the chapter. So there's many different options out there for people. And once again, one of the reasons why it's a good starting point for first timers or newbies to get into it. Now let's talk about some other stuff here, because the quality of life and the UI updates, these are all things that are going to make playing Fire Emblem so much more approachable and easy and newcomer friendly than previous games. Now, sometimes it can be very confusing to kind of see exactly what you have and what you can do in a Fire Emblem game, or what equipment your character is using. Now in Fire Emblem Engage, everything is streamlined so much better. You can easily get right into what equipment your fighter has. You can see what's going on the bottom banner of the map. You don't have to go through menus and navigate. So this, with the UI improvements in terms of just visually how it looks, not as small and stuff like that, it really creates an inviting, vibrant, and good atmosphere for newcomers to just get right into it. And I'm really impressed with what they're doing here, because as Fire Emblem gains in popularity, these are the type of things that you have to do. Three Houses is the best selling Fire Emblem game of all time, and Fire Emblem Engage has an opportunity to actually surpass it with a lot of this stuff that they're doing with this game. Now, it's something that I like to do. It's a little bit of slang, but I'm saying here RPG sauce, and that is the emblem rings and the engage attacks. These are pretty much broken attacks that you can really just wreak havoc on the battlefield, but it creates fun and it creates things for newcomers that's exciting and wants to pull them in. It's flashy. It just creates more of a buzz with the game, and that's these engage attacks with these emblem rings. For a few turns, if you initiate it, you fuse with your emblem ring, one of the heroes from the past, and you can do crazy damage or have great abilities or teleport on the map or just do all sorts of stuff, do crazy types of healing. It's great for newcomers, and of course it's great for returning fans that want something a little bit different from the franchise, because we've never seen anything like this in a Fire Emblem game. So I do like the fact that they're adding something like this that's flashy and also is just fun for new people to get right into. Now, another thing is that this game is going to have far less confusing aspects about it. So Fire Emblem Three Houses really stack the mechanics on mechanics, especially with the teacher teaching aspect. Now, that aspect can be fast forwarded. It can be skipped. You don't have to do that in Three Houses, but it's still all there with all of those menus and all of that. Now, they've replaced all of that stuff with less of an emphasis on talking to your teammates in between the battles and doing all sorts of teaching and tasks and stuff like that. And they've replaced it with doing preparation stuff. So you can still talk to your teammates and you can still have support conversations. That's a staple of Fire Emblem games in order to get boosts. But now you can do mini games on your own. You can do push-ups, you can do squats, you can play a flying shooting mini game, you can go fishing. These are all things that have kind of replaced some of the side stuff, and really the emphasis and focus has been put on the combat and the story in the game. A singular path. You don't have 3 paths to pick from, which automatically could confuse some newcomers saying, oh, well, which path is the best path? Which one should I do? Is there a right or a wrong, or a bad ending or a good ending? There's just one here. So it's a singular game, so newcomers can just hop in and not have to worry about maybe not liking a certain path or character later down the line, when it's just one story to really just focus on. And most Fire Emblem games are like that, but it's nice to have it here in a big new mainline Fire Emblem game. Now, next up is something that kind of happens maybe even during or after you're done beating the game. Once you play the game and you have these emblem rings and you see all these heroes from the past, and maybe you read a little bit of information in the game about them, this could actually lead to you playing other Fire Emblem games. So you say, hey, well, I like Marth, or I like Roy, or I like this character, and you learn about their game, and you say, okay, well, maybe I want to play the game that they're from. So I think that's also another reason why it's a great starting point, because it really introduces you to so many of the heroes of past Fire Emblem games. So if you haven't played Fire Emblem Three Houses and you play this game and you really like Byleth as a emblem ring, you might want to go play Fire Emblem Three Houses. Or if you like Corrin, you might want to go check out Fire Emblem Fates, the games that these characters come from. So I think that's also a great launching or starting point for people just getting into Fire Emblem. So I think that overall, there's so many good things about this game that we're hearing about. Nintendo's putting out so much more content, and they're really starting to push Fire Emblem Engage, and that is great to hear, as Fire Emblem was on its deathbed not too long ago, back before Fire Emblem Awakening came out and saved the franchise. So it's good to hear that more and more people are excited and looking forward to Fire Emblem, and I cannot wait to get my hands on Fire Emblem Engage. I think it's going to be a fantastic title. Now, if you guys have any more questions or different videos that you want me to do on Fire Emblem Engage, let me know in the comment section below. I will be reading through. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.